the biggest dirty secrets about waste management industry?
The more population that we have, the more contaminated to our environment. Simple terms called broken window theory. Somebody try to throw one thing into the floor. Everybody see, yeah, he can throw, why I cannot? Especially in Malaysia, when you found out the corner that somebody threw a 1 bag or 2 bag of rubbish, then suddenly everybody try to throw the rubbish into that area. Whenever the garbage truck across your house, feel unpleasant smell because we not properly dispose our food waste.
Is there things going behind the scene the government is doing to dispose the rubbish, or they're just throwing it into the landfill and it's feeding more and more land?
They are in India, in Indonesia, especially high populated society country, they have a severe issue in terms of the landfill. I think they should start to focus some of the attention on rewarding green. Come on, at this moment you bring your own bag, Tesco or Lotus, whatever, give you RM1 discount. I think everybody bring their own bag. You won't see any of plastic, but yeah, true.
You know, they ban straw, but at the same time, they still give you the plastic cap on top.
Correct. A lot of F&B, they provide you a straw, but with a whole plastic inside to cover it in order to ensure the hygienist of the thing. Exactly. I say it's nonsense, totally it's nonsense to me. In order to process this rare earth, they involve a very high techniques. Why US think that I don't want this industry happen in my country? Because it's so highly polluted industry. They all shipped to China, all shipped to Vietnam, they all shipped to India.
If you were giving a full control to change one thing in waste management, what will you do immediately?
I think
Hey guys, before we jump into today's episode, me and Jim would like to ask you for a quick favor. It turns out that over half of the people who tune into the Entrepreneur Journal haven't subscribed yet.
And if you've been enjoying the conversation that we're having, the raw stories, the strategies, the lesson from creatives, athletes, founders, and dreamers, the best way to spot us is simple. Just hit that subscribe button.
Well, it's free. It just takes 2 seconds and it generally helps us to keep the show going and growing.
And here's our promise to you. We're going to keep showing up with better guests, deeper stories, and better production quality every single week. Now, thank you for being here. Let's get into the episode. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneur's Journal. So today's guest deals with something that we usually don't talk about. He's the owner and founder of the company Fast Track Resources, and it's a company that is changing the game in the waste management space using biotechnology, microbial solution to treat industrial wastewater, especially palm oils and rubber production before it ends up in our rivers and drain. In this episode, we're not just talking about the science and sustainability, we are going to dive deep into the dark secret of waste management. So the things that the public doesn't know or doesn't see and how it impacts the environment. So he has a lot of stories to tell, so get ready for some eye-opening truth. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Chow. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting topic because, not all of us always talks about, we always see, but we don't talk about it very often. We always try to close an eye.
Understand.
Yeah, but I want to start with this. Waste management is not a very sexy business.
Correct.
How did you actually get into this business?
Basically, let me share some of my background.
Sure.
So, I have been in semiconductor line for more than 15 years to 20 years. So why I'm changing to this business, so-called bio solutions to a wastewater treatment. So I have an opportunity to meet out one of the scientists that basically who involved on this thing. Okay, whenever we sit down and talk, especially talking about environment, so I believe that environment is one of the major issues that the coming century, the coming future, we need to deal with it.
Yes.
Because it's all direct proportionally to the population. The more population that we have, the more contaminated to our environment. So that's why I have decided to involve on these segments of industrial. So in the beginning, we basically work out with the scientists to deal with general waste. General waste means basically sewage. So like sewage treatment and so forth and so on. So actually I'm started a business with sewage treatment. So one of my major customer start with G. So it's on top of the mountain. So everybody know who is it. So then from there, because we are having a very good successful story with them. So from there, they introduce us to the other subsidiary. It's called plantation. So we are started with sewage treatment, but we are end up with dealing with palm oil mills segment. So because we have very successful story, we have giving very fantastic result to them. So from there, they basically introduce us to his subsidiary. Then from there, we have started up our business into a palm oil mill. So initially, we also facing very difficult situation because our base is come from sewage treatment. It's not on palm oil mill. So we have been
R&D.
gone through the stage that R&D, especially we need to change our formula because we are dealing with a different kind of waste material. So from there, so we walk out the stage until 20 years. We are still in the market.
Wow.
20
years
in the market. And then maturity is one of the key players in the market at this moment. Okay.
So what exactly does your company does? What is the solution that you're providing actually?
Okay.
What's different?
Basically, we are biosolutions company. So we are, put it layman term for everybody easy to understand, we basically provide effective microbe into the treatment system. Basically, we are providing the microorganism. So some people say we are provide bacteria, but basically the actual terms we are microorganism. We are live microorganism. So we are put into the system in order to increase the efficiency of the biodegradable process.
I see.
Okay.
Where does this bacteria come from? What kind of microorganism is it?
Okay, so this is a very interesting story. How actually we come out on this? Our scientists have found out that in the mangrove soil area, basically
mangrove, right? Mangrove where the
swamp area, where the area that basically the river before they enter into the ocean.
Okay.
So our scientists found out that this area can be able to treat as a natural water treatment system because they consist of plenty kind of bacteria or microbes. He had able to heal the river naturally. So from there, we are isolated. We culture some of the bacteria. Then we found that it's very effective to the wastewater treatment.
I see. Okay. I see. Not that you mentioned it makes sense because river is always somehow in Malaysia is dirty and when it flows to the sea. So you're saying that the mangrove is like a filter for the water.
It's a natural water treatment system. So even though you study deep enough to the swamp area, they have many kind of species that basically live around this area. So at this moment, I believe that internationally, a lot of countries have been put out the rule and regulation to preserve this swamp area in order to increase so-called to push up the environment treatments
that's
process.
Interesting. Because we always go into like Kuala Selangor, look at the swamp, right? It always looks very dirty, dark, So you're saying that the water in mangroves is actually very clean.
Yes. So basically, he are able to he do a lot of job. First of all, he doing a settlement. Basically, he able to dissolve the heavy metals scenario. He also can dissolve the especially hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon means basically diesel, petrol, all these kind of things.
Okay.
I see.
Okay. I think it's a very natural process.
Yes.
That's why I think they are very focusing on preserving.
Yes. Everybody are focusing on this area so much at this moment. So you won't see any development near the mangrove area at this moment. So every country are trying to preserve on this, especially this area.
Interesting.
Then how do you discover this and turn it into a business?
Okay, as I say, we have noticed the things can happen in this mangrove area. So we try to isolate some of the bacteria. We culture some of the bacteria from there. So we put it into the R&D stages. Then we found that it's very effective to remove some of the contaminated content, especially metal, especially some of the hydrocarbons waste. So from there, we try to use it as the element for wastewater treatment. Okay, so put it very simple term, we put a booster, so-called booster, effective microbe booster into the system in order to increase the system efficiency. So through many years of trial, then basically we have very successful story until today.
Okay. I see.
Well, how long do you R&D actually in this process?
Oh, this process they even frankly speaking, as today we are still doing R&D because nobody can understand 100% of the microbe
after 20 years.
After 20 years, because we can say that in the naturally they have consist of 1,000 kind of microbes in natural environment. So we need to identify which type is actually doing their own job. So until today, we have still spend a lot of money into R&D. So waste, for a different kind of way that to say that waste also changes. There are so many different kind of waste coming into the market, right? They have organic, inorganic, and so forth and so on.
Different chemical.
Yes, different chemical, different kind.
Era right now.
Chemical is one of the things. Then secondly is metal content inside. There are so many metal content inside, so they will cause a different kind of reaction into the wastewater.
Okay. So before I ask you about the improvement in 20 years, how is the process like? Once you cultivate the bacteria, the microorganism, and then you spray it into the waste or the wastewater, how is the whole process like?
Okay, the process, I put it a very simple way that basically we domain our bacteria into a substance. So we're using a rice bran. So we actually using a dry freeze technology. So we domain the bacteria to attach into the medium. The medium is a rice bran. So we are in a very dry format. So after that we pack it with vacuum bag. So they are basically in the hibernate stage at this moment. So how do we wake them up? So basically we need moisture. So as long as the moisture contain more than 50%, the attack so contact with the environment. So basically the bacteria will wake up. So once they wake up, basically we can direct those into the treatment area. Okay, this is what we are.
I see.
Okay, so of course I put it very simple term, but they involve a lot of process. So for example, we need to culture the bacteria is more than 20 over days. We need to isolate it from the culture media. So from there, we need to attach the bacteria into the media. So this is one of the process. Then after that, we need to go through a cool freezing process in order to pack it. So we're talking about maybe more than a month for the productions period.
So then when you spray into the water, the wastewater, it basically like eats up all the contamination, like oils and everything.
It can say that because basically he digests. He improved the biodegradable process. So he biodegrade. So the things will naturally biodegrade. Everything in the world is bio-natural degrade. So even though wood, metal, glass, even though plastic, everything will biodegrade.
Anything in the periodic table.
Periodic. You are so good. You're still good. You're still good.
Anything in the periodic table.
You still long time never have people talking about the periodic table. It just come back to the times, how long you need to dissolve. To naturally. So what we do actually, we speed up the process. We speed up the process. So I think it's more easy to understand.
I see. And you mentioned all this mostly you're working in the palm oil and also rubber mill as well. Right? So those wastewater that is used to process the palm oil.
Yes.
Before it can actually go back into the river or drains.
Yes, correct. Because our local government have fixed up a certain standard in order for you to discharge the water into the river or drainage. So I think every industry you need to fulfill the standard. So it's controlled by DOE, Department of Environment. So every month they need to submit a water sample for test in order to know that whether they are fulfill the standard or not.
I see. I see.
So of course DOE also take against action to all those factory that cannot meet the standard. So you can go through, you can search through the DOE website basically have a lot of court case. So how do you imagine that? How much do you imagine one saman? How much he will fine you if let's say you cannot fulfill a standard?
I see.
You give a guess. How much he will give you a saman?
20,000.
20,000. Minimum is 25,000. Wow. So 25,000 to 50,000. So if let's say you have repeated to offend this rule and regulation, so the jail term will be coming into a picture.
I see.
So now Malaysia's are having a very tighten up in the rule and regulations.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. The whole policy now getting tightened up,
yeah,
so everyone can follow, right?
Yes.
But talking about like just now the periodic table, right? So because every type of chemical is different, so that's why you have to R&D different type of method in order to,
to dissolve the things.
Yeah. Is it?
So we need to isolate it. We need to identify which bacteria have more effective to a certain elements. What I can say. Yeah. So
that's why you all keep on R&D.
Yeah, you keep on R&D. We need to spend a lot of money for R&D on this stage. Because I think not only us, I think the worldwide actually threatened environment issue is very seriously. Yes. So we try to find the way that basically to help the earth to reheal themselves. So I think everybody talking about this issue.
Everyone talking about global warming, then the ocean issue,
plastic issue, contamination, all these kind of things. Actually, contamination not only come from water. So if you're understanding that they put out into a different kind of contamination. First of all, water, air, thermal, noise, and so forth and so on. There are so many kinds of segments. So that's why you need to tackle which segment that basically you are focused in. So as I say that currently there are new things coming term called e-waste. There's one of the e-waste. There's a very one of the major issue that everybody need to tackle at this moment. Okay.
Yeah. E-waste is electronical waste, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Because now currently we're living in the tablets, phones.
So especially electronics devices. We cannot run away from electronic devices. But unfortunately, the things have changed. So our electronics devices cycle time have been reduced from 10 years to 7 years to 5 years, maybe 3 to 2 years. So that's why we create a lot of so-called electronic waste.
Especially with a lot of cheaper electronics.
Yes.
You buy cheap price, you can use it for a few months and then it's spoiled. And then inside those are components as well.
Yeah, very, very true. So this thing happening in China. So currently China government is one of the major participant into setting a new regulation on e-waste because they are having a very major issue on this. Because e-waste is not only on the device itself, especially their content of battery. So battery is one of the major high chemicals.
The lithium inside.
Is all chemicals. So you need to very be careful to deal with this kind of devices. In order when you are not using it, you must have disposed into a proper channel. So, but unfortunately, there are so far, I think society are not aware on this. So they treat it like something they don't use, they just throw into a rubbish bin. Like your iPad cannot work, then you just throw it. Yeah, your TV cannot work, you just throw it. Your freezer cannot work, just throw it everywhere. But basically, they are all content of electronic devices which is contain very high, different kind of metals element inside. They need to very careful to deal with it, to dispose it. Yeah.
So how is the whole process like? I mean, because we just throw our rubbish, right? Okay. Let's say my phone is spoiled, my iPad spoiled. I just throw into the dustbin bag, and then the rubbish man pick it up.
Yeah.
What happens after that? Because like in Japan or some other country, they have this. They do recycle bins.
They do have
right?
this
recycle bins. They put it nicely, but we don't have. So actually, what happens after that?
Okay, so you're putting a very good question that which I would like to highlight in this round because segregation, how to separate out in terms of your waste, one of the key elements to reduce the waste. Okay, so if let's say for example, you say you have a iPad that you cannot spoil, then you need to dispose. So called dispose. So you need to dispose into a proper channel. Even today we have proper channel. In Malaysia, we already have a proper channel for you to dispose the electronic devices. So you need to dispose into the recycling center which is identified by the government. Especially this area, I think it's in PJ. I think Kota Samaran, Sarah, they have so forth and so on. So you can't treat it like a normal garbage tag. You dispose it. You just dispose into your plastic bag, then let the collector to collect it. Then if you go to a landfill, no.
I see.
Definitely no. This is one of the way that we need to change our way to dispose the electronic device.
But because to be honest, like myself, I don't get all this information, and I don't think like even my friends also getting all this information. Because to me, if I like, let's say for example, today my tablet is cannot work really already. To be honest, I'll just leave it there. I'll just throw it into the dustbin. But because in our area also, even the place that I live, right, they don't have a proper dustbin for us to actually throw the electronics there. And we have to purposely go to one center, maybe. I don't
even know there's a center.
Actually, don't even have a center.
Actually, you can just throw this information to a website. Of course, I agree with you. The awareness of this is not so well known to a society at this moment. But hopefully, especially that's why today I'm here in order for you to share out now. This thing actually available, but unfortunately the awareness is still not up to the standard.
I see.
So that's why today that's why we are here. We need to share out this information to the public that we need to deal with this kind of situation. But of course, at this moment, if you still dispose the things as conventionally, so of course the collector will isolate it for you. They will say collector definitely, because this is a valuable device lah. So they still need to they will reuse and then recycling is.
I see.
So the collector will do the job.
I thought they collect, put into the truck, they press, they bring it to the rubbish field.
When they do it to the rubbish field, basically they will segregate out as well, because basically plastic, paper, other things they are still can
recycle.
They have a commercial value, I can say commercial value. They have commercial. Even though today, I think you are not aware that actually you collected whatever's plastic, recycled material, you dispose into the government channel. Basically, they will pay you back. They will pay you back. They will pay you back.
Actually, I didn't know this, but when I go to one event, the startup event, so they actually talk about this. If you actually
recycling the valuables materials,
then the government will pay
you back.
That's why you see those auntie uncles on the bicycle collecting all the paper box and all. They also send to the recycle center, right? So they can get some
payment from that.
True. So like I say, the things have just started up, and then of course the awareness is not there. Then secondly is still society awareness lah. This all we are talking about dumping or talking about dispose of on the garbage, whatever. This all come to very, very deep insight is a society civil conscious.
I've been a huge fan of anime for as long as I can remember. And if you're anything like me, you know how hard it is to find high quality, 100% authentic licensed collectibles and merch without spending hours searching online. That's why I want to put you onto something special today. This episode of the Entrepreneur Journal is proudly sponsored by Gacha, your go-to destination for the best collectibles, figurines and anime merchandise. They are giving you an exclusive 10% online discount of all in-stock items, no minimum spend, no hidden terms, just one-time access to premium collectibles at a discount. So here's how you get it. Subscribe to our channel, the Entrepreneur Journal on YouTube. Once you hit that subscribe button, head over to the link stated in our description below and claim your 10% discount. It's just that simple. So, if you have been eyeing that must-have figure or collectibles, now is your chance to grab it. Support our podcast, support the ACG community, and treat yourself to some awesome merch. Terms and conditions apply. Now, back to our conversation.
Speaking about that, right? What is the biggest dirty secrets about waste management industry? that we actually most people don't know about?
Okay, I think you refer to this. You can refer to some of the cases that are happening in Malaysia. I just use some of the cases that happen in Malaysia. I think in 2000 they have one cases, very major cases called Kim Kim River. Is in Johor. So basically, they are one of the irresponsible or garbage collector. Basically, they dispose the so-called hydrocarbon, one of the major hydraulic into the river. So he caused a very severe condition because the resident around the river basically having a sickness. So they actually admit into a hospital.
Oh my God.
So that's why they cause a very major issue on that. So looking at this issue, so what they actually dispose, they just dispose hydraulic oil into the river. So a lot of people thought that it's very simple. There are nothing special. It should not be any major issue. This is what you refer is called
hydraulic oil.
Hydraulic oil.
Okay.
So this is very simple thing. You can throw it everywhere. When this is the long mindset that everybody having. So because government already fixing the rule that all this kind of waste actually need to be classified as a schedule waste. So schedule waste you need a proper channel to dispose, especially this kind of waste. Of course, you have a government already identified which the contractor to correct this kind of waste, and then how much you charge you to dispose this kind of waste. Of course, some people. Some 30 kind of contractor, they need to save maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, that kind of dollar value. They don't care.
Right.
They just throw it into the river. So this is one of the cases. Secondly, have you encountered, you are living in Kota Damansara, you sure know that we have a Semenyih water treatment plant closed down because of the contamination.
Really?
So we have water rationing for 7 days. You know, but basically you forgot already. Just recently, it's not long ago, just few years back. So it's one of the major issue because it's also hydrocarbon. Yeah, it's just those because of the recycling factory. Basically, they leak out the contaminated water into our water intake system. So that's why the cost our water treatment plant closed out for 7 days. So this is one of the major happening issue. This thing is happening. So I think this thing not only happening in Malaysia, this thing happening everywhere around the world. This is all come back to my concern is still all come back to the civil conscious, the society awareness. So it depends what we are. So like I share some of the very simple terms called broken window theory. So when somebody try to throw one things into the floor, everybody see, he can throw, why I cannot? This is one of the things that are very simple, right? Why I can't, right? So you'll be aware that especially in Malaysia, alongside in the small road, maybe in the kampong where maybe in your resident area, then certainly when you found out the corner that somebody threw a 1 bag or 2 bag of rubbish, then certainly everybody try to throw the rubbish into that area until government what to do, they put out a signboard there, hey, this is the area that you need to find and this kind of thing. This thing happen. This is all human psychology's effects. So what you should do, of course, there are many theory behind on this, what you should do, what government should do, what we should do. I think all come back to the stage that tighten up rule and regulation is one thing. Okay, I think speed up the process of penalize. Okay, whoever you see people throw rubbish, then he need get fined. Especially Singapore, they're doing very well. They're doing very well on this part. So
they're very strict on the fines.
They're very strict on the penalization. So then I think we should start with education level. So I think at this moment, people thought that we have started kindergarten, we have started primary school, everybody say that, your teacher say that, your family say that, don't throw rubbish, you must keep the tidy, everything. But why the things not happening? Why the things not happening? So we need to rethink the whole system again. So we need to improve the system. I don't say the system no good. But you must think different way. You must think out of the box already. For example, I think this is my personal point of view. You should bring the young kids to the landfill, looking, let them have an experience that how we actually can reduce the waste in order to save our environment. You should bring the young kids to that level. You should bring the young kid to the river that are very highly contaminated. Yeah. So this is the way that you can make awareness for them.
Yeah, I want to ask more about because every day we are disposing a lot of rubbish. We eat food, we throw, we eat any clothes we don't want. A lot of times we just throw in the rubbish, right? From my point of view, it's always being brought to the landfill, the rubbish field, landfill, and it's going to get filled up. Is it sustainable, or is there things going behind the scene the government is doing to recycle things, to dispose the rubbish that we are not aware about, or they're just throwing it into the landfill and it's feeding more and more lands?
And become like a mountain.
Like a mountain, we see like some of the
some of the movie,
you can see from YouTube. They are in India, in Indonesia, especially high populated country, they have a severe issue in terms of the landfill. So, in Malaysia, we don't consider ourselves as a very high population country. So, we are still manageable in terms of our landfill. So, at this moment, what I'm trying to answer your question is, he break up the two way that you need to handle the waste in the upstream or downstream. Okay, now most of our society is handling the waste in downstream. Mean basically we don't do nothing in our upstream. Mean that you don't do anything. I just see whatever I want to throw, I throw in the plastic bag, then let somebody collect. So
exactly.
The costs. I break down the cost I break out the cost for dealing with all those waste. 50% to use is to collect, transport, to dispose. 50% already used on that already. So, but how we actually can eliminate it and help on this situation, basically you need to separate out whatever waste you have. Okay, so in Malaysia, we are not practice anything about composting, food waste composting. There is one very good practice that overseas people are start doing. So, because one thing that bad practice that we have, we try to dispose the thing, everything logically in exactly. Your food waste, your plastic, your paper, maybe something that you don't want, glasses, everything. So this is not a good practice because that's why I separate out. We don't do anything into the upstream. We just let everything happening in the downstream. So the cost to involve the dealing with upstream and downstream is almost 10 times. Wow. If let's say, for example, if we do it properly in our upstream, that means you are a very good person, like you. Okay, paper you put in the very proper way. Okay, plastic you separate out. Food waste you separate out, and plastic and unreusable material, electronic device, all those. Then you helping you do the thing in the upstream already. So straight away when the collector know that, this is paper, then I straight away to go to the paper mill that can be reused. Plastic they can use to the reuse. They go to pallet form, whatever. Electronic waste they will go to a proper channel to dispose. So you are doing the job in the upstream already. But at this moment, we know we provide the system, but nobody practice it.
But do we actually provide? Because you see in our house, right, we only have one big green color rubbish bin outside, right? And then when the rubbish collector come, they just pour everything in there. I don't know what happens after that. So if I separate it out properly, is it going to help them? Or
Of course. This is the way that you need to help them.
Right.
You need to help them.
Right.
Yeah. Garbage collector truck, he need to service the whole community with only 3 collectors inside. How are you going to help you on this? So we need to separate out our disposed items properly. So we help them. Definitely we help them. So at this moment, whatever they can do, the minimums are effort. Like you see, you noticed that when the garbage truck walk through your doorstep, you see that basically they are big bag for plastic. Whatever he can see plastic, they will take it out. Okay, for paper, I think they will do as well. So, but once you separate up for them, you already put it proper disposable bag for them. So basically, you help them a lot. So where before they actually go to the landfill, they go to the collector center, then the thing straight away they can channel in. They go to a proper channel already.
I see.
So that means you can reduce a lot of cost on that. Yeah. So, but at this moment, what you see that whenever the garbage truck across your house, you feel a unpleasant smell.
Yeah.
Because we not properly dispose our food waste.
I see.
This is one of the things that we actually need to think of.
So how should we dispose our food waste?
Okay, there are many ways to dispose our food waste. So first of all, especially when all those like can use as a fertilizer. You can use it as a fertilizer. You can compost the food waste as well. So currently, there are a lot of NGO actually encourage people to do on this part. So you can search through the web. They teach you how to collect all your apple, peel off apple skin, whatever the fruit skins, and basically whatever fruit that you are not finished. You're not finished. Basically, you can go for proper composting at your homes. So other than that, maybe let's say bone, whatever, you still can dispose. But of course, there's only consists of very minimum. Then bone food waste actually is not one of the major contaminated factor because he can naturally dissolve. But only the channel. How you pack it, how you put it this way.
Okay.
I see. Maybe I personally share one of the things to you.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So, especially you have a party at home, you eat all those crab, you eat all those prawn, especially this kind of thing like seafood, right? Shell, all this. So, what are you going to do with it? Let's say your garbage collector will come on only next Tuesday. Today is Saturday. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Put in the rubbish bin.
You do the rubbish. You try to tidy it up as much as possible. I put a eraser in. No, a very simple way. You just put into your freezer. That's all. You just freeze it up. Then you should anything when Tuesday come, you just dispose on the Tuesday. Then you eliminate a lot of unpleasant smell on that. Basically, you slow down the whole decomposal process. Basically, the unpleasant smell is not come out yet. But we do differently. We still try to dispose into our garbage bag. We try our way to how to tie it, cable tie, how many way, but he wouldn't help. Because basically, this is a natural food way. So he will decompose by himself.
It's like putting our meat into the freezer to prevent from rotting.
Yes. So same thing, you just collect proper way, put the plastic bag, whatever. So you just put in the freezer, that's all. It's so simple as that. When you throw it when the collector come to your doorstep to collect, he still got 8 hours to 10 hours before they go to the center. Right? So you imagine you're having a party on Saturday. Yeah, at night you already pack the things into a garbage truck, whatever. So Tuesday they come and collect. You know how many days the smell, right? They accumulate in the things, right? So very simple. But yet this is that today what we try to share.
Because even I saw sometimes when we have party or I saw someone have party, right? They just put one plastic bag there, the green one, the big one, the one there with a chair behind, and they just put there, and then everything like the fork we use is plastic, and then the paper, everything goes in.
Everything goes in. That's why we all this year we actually especially everybody do not aware that after we dispose whatever garbage that we have, we don't care. It's not my problem already. It's a government problem. It's an authority problem. It's a garbage collector problem. All these kind of things actually we need to rethink the process. We need to deal with the thing with the upstream. Once we deal with the thing with the upstream, then basically you can reduce a lot of route into the downstream.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because I say every time I throw rubbish, I always have this feeling like, okay, this is going to fill up a landmine somewhere. So 10 years down the road, it's going to
throw it.
Not just throw it, but I actually feel very guilty. I feel like, okay, this is going to go some landfill somewhere. It's going to fill up space and like, 10 years down the road, hopefully that time is all sorted out, you know.
but I think like the current society or the current, like, I would say maybe some companies, especially F&B.
Yeah.
Well, I did go to some fast food restaurant, and actually they do really practice this lah. They do have like general waste, cup, and also plastic, I think.
Yeah, correct.
So I think they're starting to do
because
this.
that's why this all count down to the society.
Yeah.
So especially a big organization, he need to initiate something to become a common practice to everybody. So when you're talking about that point, that I believe that currently a lot of F&B company they need to find a way they deal with the food waste.
Yes.
Especially unexpired food waste. So he need a lot of NGO basically collected from them. Especially KFC, especially McDonald's. This is one of the way that we need to encourage a lot of other F&B, small F&B's player. They need to practice the same way. They practice the same way as well.
So not like we talk about us normal citizen in disposing, but how about like what Steven mentioned, F&B? I know they are giving some leftover food to non-profit and all, but how do they actually dispose all the food, the sources? You know, I'm sure they have a lot of...
So especially F&B who involve a lot of oil and grease. So fighting, so especially what our Malaysia could say is always come with ayam goreng, nasi lemak, curry, all these kind of things. So in fact, actually government have been fixing up the rule that all these kind of F&B outlet, he should have a so-called grease trap. Grease trap, oil and grease trap. Grease trap. So there's a small system. Basically, he need to let the grease settle down. So in order to correct the grease and dispose into a proper channel. But unfortunately, I won't see this thing so effectively at this moment. So I still see, especially you can notice that, especially a row of shop, they have many kind of restaurant or small restaurant. Basically, you look at the drainage behind them. Especially when the flood time, when heavy downpour,
that's where the flood
where the flood come, where the oil and grease has floated up everywhere. So of course, this thing is happening, and then I believe that Malaysia have a very complete rule and regulation to govern on that. But unfortunately, at this moment, we still short of manpower. A lot of area that basically we cannot overlook on this. So this all still come back to the individual the way that basically how to deal with it. So like I say, it's a still broken window theory. When you do it, everybody will do.
Yeah, because like I see, like, for example, this Kota Damansara area.
Especially
I saw all the restaurant, like there's always behind. They collect the trash and all, right? And then sometimes they just cook there. So, well, sometimes I just saw, then you know, like the liquid they just
It's still not the worst case if let's say they throw it into the drainage. Then some people, some restaurant, I don't say many, some basically where they dispose into our sewage system.
Into the toilet bowl.
There's been into the toilet bowl.
Oh my God.
Why? To cause a serious problem, to some major issue to the system, because our sewage system basically, for example, in the township is all the IWK. So in the water. The system designed itself to trade on the sewage. It's not on the oil and grease. Basically, we wouldn't have so much oil and grease into the system, but unfortunately, unresponsible restaurant owner. So basically, they dose the things inside the toilet bowl, the toilet to do a sewage system. That cause a major problem in the treatment system. So always having an issue on this. So it's called irresponsible. So this all come to the conscious and awareness.
And what happened if they dump those oil and grease?
That's why you caught up with the system. The system cannot trade in it. So he need to stop the system to have a special way to trade on it.
You mean our sewage system cannot separate?
he can cater some of the oil and grease, but not on the major oil and grease issue. Because oil and grease is not easy to dispose.
I see.
Especially in the palm oil mill.
I see. So our inlet water system can only separate like feces.
This is big. That's why they call it sewage system. They call it sewage system. They basically to take our feces, our urine, all these kind of things. It's not for our food waste. Definitely, it's not our food waste. So food waste is one thing, Is some people also throw all those like physical waste,
Physical
waste. Those like plastic, everything. Whenever you go to a system, you can see everything is actually a lot of solid waste, a lot of solid waste into our sewage system. Sometimes that's why you can't blame IWK not doing a good job. Basically, they're also having a problem on this.
Because actually, like what you said, is the upstream problem where individuals have to understand this so they can do their job and actually also meringankan for the IWK and people.
We reduce all those downstreams effort. So
how should restaurant owner or even people like us at home dispose all these oils and grease? Because for me, I'm guilty of it. I sometimes pour the sauce and all into the sink. When I'm washing my plates and everything.
Drainage system.
Is that the right way to do, or is there a better way to do it?
Okay, you can do it at different ways. So if let's say a lot of cooking oil, a lot of grease, basically you can dry it up. You can dry it. Basically, you left it for a few days, you dry, then become a solid. So actually, dispose as a food waste.
So put the ice or something like that, right?
No need to put on ice. Maybe you can
just leave it.
Just leave it on under the sun for maybe for a while, cool place, whatever. When they become a solid, then basically just dispose as a solid waste.
But one thing is that sometimes when you eat already, you still want to wash it, right?
Wash is okay. One thing, wash is it's okay. It's okay. Actually, you still manageable to dose it into our drainage system, but not in the heavy load. Not restaurant. You're just a household.
Let's say sometimes I have a bunch of rojak sauce or satay sauce so thick, right?
So you should pack it. You should pack it as a food waste.
I see.
You should pack it as a food waste. Actually, the beside this question, you will clog your own system,
I see.
You always dispose into your own drainage. Maybe you're living in condo or living in all those very packed society. Basically, you clog your own sewage.
I see.
But for me, because my dad also understand all this because he work in a recycle factory.
Correct.
So he always asks us for the oil part, right?
Always
separate it, put
it
into the pack it, and then throw into the dustbin.
It's a first food waste. You can treat it as a food waste.
Because it will stuck your own drainage as well.
So the things happening I share with you last time. Okay, in China, few years back, basically they actually recycle the drainage oil. Have you heard this bit?
Recycle the
drainage oil. Okay, China have a lot of restaurants. Yes. Basically, they have a lot of all those oil and grease disposable into the system. So basically, some of the unresponsible contractor, they're recycling this oil to become a cooking oil again.
Oh yes.
Deco. So this thing have caused a major issue on the China's food industries. So things happening in Malaysia. People are still collected the oil, but not on this. Not for this. Because oil and grease basically is called slush oil. Slush oil got many usage. It still can use for many kind of industrial, like our soap, like candle, this kind of things. You can use it for grease, whatever.
Yep.
So that's why we encourage to recycle on this. So like restaurant, like all those restaurants, they need to have a grease trap to trap the grease. Basically, they can recycle it. There are some people that come in to collect from them. They don't need to pay any money. Maybe they will pay you back also. Because there are many commercial usage for slush oil. Okay.
I see.
So I think it still come back to awareness. Okay.
Interesting. And why don't the government improve more in encouraging people or set up an even clearer message to people to recycle? Because like I say, now I speak to you, I know separating the waste and everything, plastic, paper and all, can help the collectors, right? But why don't the government implement things like giving you maybe different plastic bag for you to put in different kind of waste, and then you dispose it. And up till now, they're still like, you just throw everything and they will collect, then they will split it.
I put it the way that actually government have a lot of message on this part. Actually, they put a lot of message. It's just awareness. It's just the message cannot go down to society effectively.
I see.
So you can refer to many websites. They're actually government website. Okay. So beside DOE, Department of Environment, we also got SW Corp. So call it a bang. It's something like dealing with solid waste.
Okay.
Public. So call it Persehan Awam. All these have government's body there govern on these things. But it still come back to the personal theory. Okay. No matter how, it's still up to the individual to whether they want to do or they don't want to do.
Whether they have this practice or not to do.
So like I say, if let's say 3 of us, we are one group of friends. I always tell you, hey friend, remember to recycle. Hey friend, remember to do this. Right. Remember, 3 of us, we have very high awareness. But when you see, hey Chow, you talk so good, but after that, you still true like that. Nonsense, Chow, you talk nonsense. You also do like that. I also don't want to follow.
Right.
It's
change
not
effects.
The change effect, definitely change effect. It's like what I say that we should start with young generation, especially very start from primary school. We should put a lot of awareness to them. We are not only on the book, on the theoretically tell them what to not to do, tell them what to do. So in human psychology, whether you can punish them or either you can reward them, which way you want to go? I think government at this moment they are very focused on punishment, but I think they should start to focus some of the attention
on rewarding.
In rewarding. When you do this, you got what? When I do this, you got what?
I see.
Let's say, for example, put a very good example, like you start to practice that separate out in terms of your waste, then the whole 365 days you do the good way, then I should give you reward. Maybe your cukai tasiran, I can give you 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
Then the thing will start changes, the focus will, the tug war will start to change. Now I always punish you. Then you will say that, punish me, never mind. I do something that you cannot find out. Then, no worry.
This is very natural.
Very natural, right?
Human
so
behavior,
you can punish, but when I do something that you cannot aware, then you cannot punish me. But when I do reward, different. You must make sure you do, then you only can get reward.
Then it will encourage more people to keep on doing it.
Enforce positivity.
There's many things happening in Europe and others countries. I think talking about this issue is not only in Malaysia, they're everywhere. The whole world, the whole global having the same issue also. Like in Denmark or maybe in Finland, when you recycle a bottle of plastic, you actually can get a few penny already. There's quite practice. There are a lot of people are doing that. You can recycle your tin, you recycle a plastic, recycle electronic device, all can get money back. So you encourage people to do that. You are not punish people not to do that. Now you are encourage people to do that. So I think our government should start to focus some of the area to the reward instead of punish. So we have a lot of very clear rule and regulation. Actually, you can look at our website. You look at everywhere. Everywhere is there. Every rule and step, everything is covered. But yet you need people to monitor it. You need a lot of effort in order to penalize something, to prove that you do something wrong. But when you do something good, you don't need so much evidence. As long as you do good, then this is the way, right? This is the way that make the thing happen.
I think it's an excellent point, because you mentioned also if they don't need to spend the effort to handle upstream, right? You save 10 times of cost, right? And those costs can actually also give back to the society, the public that practice all this good practice. And that will encourage people to
do it.
So and hopefully it can become a habit.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we take time to become a habit, right? So I think this probably encouraged to become a habit.
You got something to show off also. This year, you see, I'm doing very good. No, I got 20% discount from Cukai Tasiran. What you gonna happen? When the things become this momentum, thing will happen.
Or maybe
very
there's
fast,
an app that's saying that, you see my personal, you see my personal data, I have this, you know, I recycle for so many things.
True. Especially like all our auntie uncles who retire, they are looking for ways for government support, get money, and if they can do this, like to reduce some costs on their Cukai Taksiran or whatever, I think they will.
Yeah, actually, it's a very good idea.
Do it also, right?
Like I say, I just shared 30-second ideology to you. Both of you more excited than me.
Exactly. Yes, I never thought of it.
It's very simple thing. Actually, very simple thing. But yet, they need to find a way. They need to have a proper channel, proper system to look at it.
Execution is the hard part. Execution is the hardest part.
Always, it's always, Okay.
And it comes to like industrial waste and everything. Back to industrial waste. Are we doing things right now to like really make it sustainable, or we are just slowing down the whole environmental damage thing? Like in the long run, is it actually sustainable with all the gas and all the waste going into the river? You know, how sustainable is it?
Yeah, I think at this moment, talking about waste, industrial waste, government are putting a lot of effort into sustainable energy. So especially in palm oil mill, I think they are encouraged on the biogas generation. So they are very successful. There are a lot of successful story. They are put a lot of effort on it. And then at this moment, we are in a positive way. So especially talking about industrial waste sustainable. So especially even though landfill, we also have a incinerator to reproduce power to the society.
Right.
So for industrial waste at this moment, I don't see much of the things that we need to we are still in a positive trend. So that's why we need to catch up to a certain momentum. But at this moment, I believe that we are in a good shape for industrial.
But what about those factories? Sometimes you see industrial area, with the white gas coming out like a lot. Sometimes I drove past, I see I'm like, it makes me very nervous. See, like how is that going up to the sky?
Smoke. You're talking about air pollution. Okay, when you're talking about air pollution, basically
those are considered waste also, I guess.
Yeah, you consider waste. It's considered one of the part of the major pollution to the society.
Yeah.
So but at this moment, we have equipped with a very effective system to cater on this. It's just only how much you need to spend. So it's depend on the system himself. So of course, it's called tab to the owner.
Can you talk a bit about the system? Like what?
Okay, basically they will gone through a filtering system with liquid. Basically, all those particles they will trap into the liquid. So when they dispose out, basically it's just steam. There are no hard particles. So but the system itself is depend what is the cost you need to invest on this. But I think DOE have very strict rule on this area. I think everybody should meet up the standard very well. I don't see recently I don't see a very major issue on the air pollution.
So sometimes there's those gas that you see from the factory, it's mostly already steam filtered.
Steam filtered.
If they really implement.
Yes, especially big factory. Like glove factory, like palm oil mill, all this is basically they are governed in the regulations.
I see.
Yeah. Actually, the system itself not so much but it depends what's the volume that basically you need to dispose.
I see. And going back to what you are doing on the palm oil and everything, right? So back when you were introducing this technology, how did you convince them to actually go this route? It's more sustainable route.
Yeah, it's a very good question. When I still remember the story that when I meet up with one of the palm oil mill miller, he tell me that, hey, young guy, what are you doing? Why you want to sell me $1,000 of bacteria? I just can dispose into the water system to pay some fine. Why I want to use your solution that cost me maybe 50,000, 60,000. It's cost a so-called ganjiu. It's just threw a whole new ganjiu into
the new
Myvi into the ponding. You won't see anything,
And this is only one time, right?
Yeah.
So every time when they have to always pay for this.
Okay. Biological treatment, basically, you reduce species. when you're having a very major problem, you need to use a lot. But after that, you just need a sustainable amount to maintain it only. It's just like your own system. Today, I ask you, you are not healthy. I ask you, one day you need to take 3 tablets of vitamin C. After that, your everything is recover. So maybe 2 days once, that's good enough. Okay. So come back to the story that the owner, how do I feedback to the owner? I tell the owner, boss, you build your house very well. You build your bungalow very good. You have den room, you have dining room, your snooker room, but you still maintain your toilet one only, How are you going to sustain? How are you going to sustain it, right? So you must upgrade in terms of your waste system. So this is what I've started this. This is how I've started this. So of course, from time to time, there are acceptance on biotreatments have already quite norm in the market.
I see.
Okay, compared to my 20 years ago. When 20 years ago, I say young kid, don't waste your time. I see a lot of this kind of feedback from the owner. But from time to time, it has been proven this is one of the major solution. It part of the solution also. So the effective solution and very not costly actually. Basically user friendly, cost effective solution. Then they start to accept as a norm.
I'm also curious to ask, the water that you treat in this palm oil's water, is it, I know you do tests and everything to make sure that it's safe to go back to the river, but is it actually really that safe to go back to the river? In like huge loads of continuously having those treated wastewater going back to the river?
Okay, a very good question that, we have at least, nothing is 100%. Nothing is 100%. As long as we have tested the water with certain parameter, first of all, they don't have heavy metal content. This is one of the safe that we can dispose. Then you will never regret the self-healing our natural environment. So when the things go to a river, basically river itself will treat the water. So along the way, they have beneficial bacteria. They were healing themselves. So that's why they go to a mangrove soil, they were healing themselves again. So before they actually do oceans.
Which is, this is the natural process.
This is a natural, but especially organic waste is not a so major issue. When you refer to non-organic waste, chemical, yes, there must very strict rule on dispose into the system, so-called drainage system. So once, not everything you can dispose into a drainage. So that's why I say you need a scheduled waste. Scheduled waste means basically those waste need to be collected by appointed contractor in order to dispose it. So they have a very clear rule on that. So especially medical waste. So you cannot dispose in regularly. So you need to have a proper way to dispose it.
Medical waste is something now you mentioned. I also curious to ask you about how do medical hospitals actually dispose all those biochemical waste?
So basically majority hazardous medical waste, they will go for incinerator. Incinerator. Definitely, this is the only way they actually to dispose it.
Even like those gloves,
yes, everything,
all the
mask and
syringe,
all those biohazard. We call it biohazards. Biohazards. So for others like chemical, they have other way to treat it. So you have a proper way to dispose. So that's why schedule waste, you need to have schedule waste rule and regulation. So every industrial have their own schedule waste rule and regulation to govern how you dispose it. You only can be disposed by appointed contractor. But of course, you need to pay the substantial amounts of disposable costs. So that's why some loophole. Some people don't want to pay the fee. They cause a major issue on that.
I see.
Okay.
I see. I want to touch a bit about incinerator. I mean, if you incinerate all this rubbish, all this waste, right? I'm sure there's a lot of gas coming out. You can use that for maybe energy.
Yeah,
I guess.
Of course.
But is it really that sustainable? Like, does the gas actually go somewhere into the air pollution?
Air pollution, as I said, that you need to have a system to treat on the air.
So
they
filter.
They need a filter. They also have a rule and regulation to govern on that also. Not everybody can become an appointed scheduled waste contractor. They have a lot of standards
to fulfill.
In Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, actually not much in really appointed if I'm not mistaken, it's only 30. Only 30 contractors. That's why one of the major issue also, because we are limited appointed schedule waste contractor. So some will not like to pay on a certain amount. Say they will dispose the thing illegally. So of course, this is one of the major issues that we need to address as well. Because you can get a so-called common channel to dispose the thing. So some people will try to do other way.
So is it more expensive to use biotechnology, like what you are doing, microbial and all, to treat the water? Is it more expensive going this way or traditional way?
Okay, so first of all, you might understanding that the difference between conventional way and biological way to treat the water. Okay, biological solution, they have a limitation. So they are only can treat organic waste, not on chemical waste. Okay, organic waste. And then of course the cost of dealing with organic waste, basically they are only maybe 25% of the conventional way. So, okay, for example, you need to deal with palm oil waste. Okay, so if let's say you not deal with a biological way, so you may use a system, conventional treatment system. So easily you need to spend millions of dollars for the system itself.
Wow.
But on biological way, basically you can start with very minimum. You can maybe start with 10,000, 20,000, and then basically user friendly. It's just very simple, no mechanism involved. It's just again direct to the system itself. So there are two ways. But of course, the best way is you combine both. You combine both. This is the most ideological way that you should treat on the organic waste. Both. So basically, you have an aerator, you have a press, you have so on and so on. So in order to treat the hard waste, then after that you use a biological way to biodegrade the whole things, then you have a perfect solution. Yeah, but of course there are always be pro and con. Both ways also be pro and con. So the best way is still combine, but of course ponding system, as if you're understanding that if you see a palm oil mill, why they use pond? Ponding system basically is classified as a biological way to treat the waste. They use natural environments, bacteria to treat the waste. So like you see IWK beside system, they also got ponding system. Why they need to put in the pond? They need to retain the waste for a certain time, let the natural bacteria come and biodegrade them before they can discharge.
I see.
So anyhow, they need to combine. The best way is need to combine. But of course, in certain way, you can use biological way. This is the most effective way. Not necessary to use mechanism at all. Okay.
Talking about like in the water, like human waste and all. Once it's processed in the plant and it sits in the pond, back to bacteria, then where does the water go? Go back into the river again?
Yeah, go back to the river.
So those water is already separated from like human feces and everything back to the water.
Yes.
So those water, can it be recycled into something else? Like drinking water, like clean water?
Yes, in Singapore.
Right.
Singapore is they're actually using a sewage system to recycle back to become a drinking water.
I see.
So what? Because they are short. There are lack of water. So your question is very good because there are lack of natural resources. In Malaysia, nobody think about that. Because why? We have so much river. Yeah, so much rain. We don't have a problem of water, natural water supply issue. So we wouldn't go until that step. But if let's say for Singapore, so he need to go for that because he's lack of this natural resources. So he may use a lot of mechanism. They spend a lot of money in doing this. It's not easy to be your sewage water to become a drinking water. The process itself is not easy.
I see.
That actually is not so complicated, but it's just only cost. The cost. How much cost you need to spend. It's always the chicken and egg issue. It always be chicken. If let's say you don't have that natural resources, there are no choice. You must 100% recycle whatever you have in order to get the water resources. But in Malaysia, we are not until that extent because nobody will spend that kind of money. Because basically, we still have plenty kind of water resources. Okay, so naturally But for example, in Arab, they're using a seawater. They also cost a lot for them. It also costs a lot for them. But this is the only way they can have a clean water.
Right.
So it depends on how you want to.
Yeah, because every country have different kind of
situation they
geography.
They need to deal with it.
So they have to always innovate.
Yeah, innovate. This human is very naturally. Okay.
I just have one or two more questions. In terms of like worldwide, how is Malaysia doing in waste management and pollution compared to other countries? Are we doing okay?
We are doing okay. Very frankly speaking, we are doing okay.
I see.
Because compared to others, so-called development country, we call developed country, because we divided ourselves into a developed country and already developed country. Okay, like US, like Europe, Japan, Korea, they are different. So I just share maybe some of the figure to you. Okay, averagely Malaysian, our population, we spend around 90 to 100 per pax for dealing with our waste. So in Korea, we are talking about 400 to 500 per person. But in one of the environments cautious country like Australia, they're very focused on them.
Yeah.
They are talking about 600 to 700 per person.
Wow.
So you can see the difference on the things. But of course, if you compare to developed country, so we are on the way to become this stage. So like in Indonesia, we are talking about 20 to 30 ringgit. So even though others countries, small country, they're even less. So that's why they don't have many systems to deal with it. So especially in India, especially because of very high population, they need a lot of effort to deal with the garbage. So you will see a lot. They're facing a very high challenge to dealing with it. So of course, at this moment, everybody know that this is one of the major issue. I think China 10 years ago, they have also having the same issue because when you want to develop your country, you need to sacrifice some of the things, especially you need a foreign investment. So China, the time when they want to develop themselves, they actually become a factory for the global. So all those industrial, like polluted industry, will ship over to this kind of country.
Right.
Yeah, especially US. US
talk about the rare earth.
Talk about the rare earth. So rare earth is having, actually rare earth is not one of the mineral that only discovered in China. Actually everywhere. Even though US itself, they have a lot of rare earth also. So unfortunately, in order to process this rare earth, they involve a very high technique. Secondly, they are also a very polluted industry. So you need to very high technique in order to deal with the pollution. But that's why US think that I don't want this industry happen in my country.
Right.
So they shift out this industry.
Right.
Shift out this industry. So this industry to go to the undeveloped country. So not only because of the labor cost, because also part of the issue is the process, pollution and the process. That's why China to become one of the world only supplier. They actually, I think they supply almost 70% rare earth material into the world because they already master the technique. They already have the power to deal with it. So to become a not so polluted industrial. So nobody can replace them at this moment. So in Malaysia, same thing. We have Niners. Have you heard in Pahang?
Yeah.
We also got Niners. They also dealing with rare earth. So this Niners actually come from where? They come from Australia. So Australia also don't want the industrial set up in Australia himself. Basically, they ship out this industrial to Malaysia.
Sure.
So of course, it's a common It's a very common way. So nothing is free in the world. Nothing is free. Don't think that nothing is free. Especially, I don't talk about rare earth, so sophisticated. I'm talking about jeans industrial, color dyeing into the jeans, all this kind of thing. You think US still make jeans? No, because it's so highly polluted industrial. They all shift to China. They all shift to Vietnam. They all shift to to India. Indo. Why? Because basically it's a polluted industrial. They don't want to set up in their own soil. So of course, it's pro and con. So we need this kind of foreign investment in certain stage. Of course, when the times go, if we have a choice, we have a selection, then basically we have a better call. But if you don't have any call, you don't have any card in your hand, what are you going to do? You need to feed your people, you need to feed your society, everybody need job, then what are you going to do? You need to accept it. This is quite common, quite normal. Quite normal. Yeah.
Interesting.
So especially talk about this in other way, like e-waste, right? Why Malaysia are having a major issue for electronic waste? Because all those developed country, they ship out all those electronic waste to us in order for us to process, because it's a highly polluted industrial. So what we going to do, right? So of course, we are aware on this. Few years ago, we're not aware on the hazard and the importance of the e-waste. We need to set up the rule and regulation to govern on this. But recently, we already know this very hazardous industrial. So Malaysia government are look very focused on the e-waste already. So it's not, then we prevent all those trans-nation e-waste to coming to Malaysia.
I see.
So this thing, before that, they're going to where, all these e-waste, before they come to Malaysia, last few years, where they go? They go to China. But now China having very strict law, they are not accept any e-waste.
I see.
They go to the country. The country. So now Malaysia having very strict law, you cannot ship to Malaysia. Where they go? They will find somewhere to go. This is natural, very natural. So always the chicken and egg issue. Okay.
I see.
Chow, like if you were giving a full control, right, to change one thing in waste management, like no red tape, no politics, what will you do immediately?
I think I always strike up the point that I will enhance in terms of the awareness of the society. I will spend a lot of my budget in order to put up awareness of the society. Then secondly, I will basically focus on to the technology. Okay, because technology will help in terms of waste management, or especially dealing with plastic, chemical. This all technology. Actually, it's very sophisticated technology. People thought that they are actually garbage, nothing. Garbage basically is money. If you have a technology to convert to become a sustainable energy, the better way, the effective way, then basically you make money. Everybody is happy on that. So you wouldn't call this as a waste no more. They basically it's the industrial. It's one of the industrial. It's all technology. It's all technology. So you need to we also focus on that part also. Our R&D also focus on that. But we also using a biological way to dissolve a plastic. But plastic have many types, so that's why also difficult to we still don't have a so-called a very significant outcome, but we are still investing on that. We are still discover the way that actually basically to dissolve on the plastic.
So that's what you are R&D now.
Yes, of course. There are many ways we need to R&D. Yeah, not only on the plastic, there are many other things.
As long as in the periodic
yeah, true. Okay.
So the first thing you will do definitely will be awareness.
Awareness, definitely. The awareness not start on the late stage. I will start with a very beginning stage about primary school, all this. Because like you must have the mindset to set up to them. Initially, like I say, very simple. You can just bring the kid to the landfill, let it see,
let them experience,
let it look at it. Why you because everybody until like some of your age, you will never know after you throw a rubbish what's happening to them. You never have any experience. You will never know that what's actually happening after you throw a rubbish. But we had told everybody don't throw things, but they will never aware, right? They will never experience. They don't have self-experience on that. So just bring the society have the make a tour to the landfill, to all those chemical treatment plant, whatever you can see. You want to go to IWK, let them understand what way feces go, where your sewage go, right? Yeah. Don't throw something into your sewage system, drainage, sewage system and sewage system. Don't say unfinished food or all those food waste throw into the your sewage system. This is very self-awareness. So when the society have a very high self-awareness, I believe that we deal with the problem upstream more than 50%. then you have a very better way to deal with the waste already. This is but of course the it's not easy. Talk is easy. It's not easy.
Definitely.
It's not easy. Not only waste. I think humans always be the most difficult part to deal with. Right?
I think can also like reference other countries like Japan. That's a very good job in managing waste. You know, the kids are being brought up in school the way, you know.
So like you say that extended producer reliability, we call EPR. So currently a lot of overseas countries we practice EPR. So extended producer reliability means that basically whoever produce the thing, he have the responsible to recycle it. So he must find a way to recycle it. Especially Apple, he will collect back your iPad, the device. So it's called EPR lah. We need to enforce on the EPR as well. So today, if I think everybody know that we try to cut down the plastic. But you see plastic bags still available in the market. I think you can easily to get plastic bag to compare to you get a Maggi mee, right? I just go downstairs, I can get plastic bag everywhere. But why that we have so many ways that actually to replace the plastic bag, but yet I don't see the things that we can have paper bag because we don't have the alternative. The technology is not there. The paper bag, the costs compared to plastic bag is so high. We can produce easy dissolved plastic, but the cost is there. The cost, we cannot bring down the cost, but the cost is all based on economy of scale. If everybody want to look for it, everybody only use that bag, basically the cost will reduce as well, right? So especially very common
supply demand,
EV car, right? Last time only Tesla. 200,000, 300,000. Who else will not afford to have EV car? Now China player come. Everybody talk about we should start. My next car should be EV or not. It's just like when you provide a supply with a demand is in the market, then basically the thing will go along the way already. So technology, people awareness is always combined together. There are no one way lah. There always be many way.
I always feel plastic is in a very strange position. You know, I think the government is doing a lot of things to enforce not to use plastic. You go shopping, you go grocery shopping, you need to buy plastic bags. So most of the time, me and my wife we use the sustainable shopping bag. The most funny thing I find is straw. You know, they ban straw, but at the same time, they still give you the plastic cap on top.
Correct,
so I'm always asking, like, what's the point of this? I don't use straw, but I still have the plastic cap on top.
True. So one of the good points. Now you see a lot of F&B, they provide you a straw, but with a whole plastic inside to cover it in order to ensure the hygienist of the thing. I say it's nonsense. Totally, it's nonsense to me. Actually, it's nonsense to me. Actually, so like government also pay a lot of effort on that, like no plastic bag. I think some people are aware they will bring your own recycle bag and so forth. I think still come back to the question, penalize and rewards. You must give a reward to the society then in order to push the awareness of the society. Once you put the reward to the society, actually, come on, at this moment you bring your own bag. Tesco or Lotus, whatever, give you 1 ringgit discount. I think everybody bring their own bag. You won't see any plastic bag. Yeah, true. But of course,
true. Rather than penalize them to pay for the plastic bag, right?
Yeah, talk is easy. But when you want to implement any system, any kind of policy, it's very difficult.
And also because it's not just supermarket, you have vendors, street vendors like Pasar Malam and all. Right? It's very hard for them to enforce this because they just cari makan.
I think for my personal point, I think everybody aware of plastic waste, but a lot of people not aware on the fiber waste, clothes. Shirt. This is one of the very difficult things to dispose as well. So we don't have for my personal point of view, we don't have so-called effective way to recycling on these things at this moment.
I see.
So
just rewear. Normally it's just rewear, sent to orphanage.
It's just throw away. Then basically, actually very difficult. So nowadays, you won't see so much plastic bag in the landfill already. But you see a lot of fiber waste. A lot of fiber waste. Because we don't have, at this moment, we don't have very effective recycle method for fiber. So let's say, for example, clothes, shirt, you can donate into all those, but they're not short of crude already. Everybody not short of crude, especially China. Now you can buy a crude for 10 ringgit, 3 shirt, 10 ringgit, 4 shirt. Then you see a lot of things there. And then you see a challenge because China also caused a lot of problems, especially your buzzer. You see a lot of buzzer. Yeah, certainly. A lot of buzzer, a lot of plastic, a lot of all those paper wrap, so many ways on that. So many ways on that. Yeah. So there's also part of the, because our buying behavior change, our shopping behavior change. We are cut down our physical shopping. Now we are all based on online shopping. Online shopping having a very major challenge in terms of the packaging. So I think people are start to look at the packaging already at this moment, because the packaging it causes a lot of problem as well. Because the packaging is not come from Malaysia, it's come from overseas. So the plastic, the boxes, all these kind of, there's so many hazard material inside. How they recycle on the paper. They also need to know. So because there's some regulation inside, they may contain a hazard material as well.
What is one message you wish every Malaysian should hear about waste management?
Yeah, we should put more awareness lah. Because come back, we should love our country, environment. Everybody just need to do a small step. Small step. We don't want to achieve a big step in one shot. Everybody start with a small step. When we achieve a small step, then we can live to the another step.
At least like split your waste.
Yeah, three of us we should start to split the waste. That's all. You just segregate out in terms, because we deal with the problem in the upstream. So we put a lot of effort, because it's a society. We got 30 million kind of population. 50 million start to do the thing. Landfill can cut half, because the thing will never go to the landfill already. The thing will direct go to the proper channel, the reuse, the recycling channel, whatever. So basically, you won't have a pressure to the landfill. Well, landfill have a time frame, you don't think the landfill will never have a utility life frame. Maybe you got 30 years, you need to shift over to another place already. Right. So, but unfortunately, every time landfill, wherever set up the landfill, you always be extend. Because we don't have alternative for that. But of course, I couldn't say that we don't do a good job. Malaysians are doing a good job, but still need to improve. We still need a lot of room to improve. But of course, especially in major city, yes, we are aware. But we still need to pass a message to all those like rural area, a small city, what they do, what you should do, right? So forth and so on. Okay, good.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it was a really insightful chat.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
I definitely see my ways very different now.
Good.
And I hope the viewers watching this also can take away something from it. If someone wants to find you, they can go to your website.
Yes, you can
Fast
go to fasttrackresources.com.my.
Okay, that should be in the description below. And I hope everyone gets some awareness out of waste management and protect our earth so that we can have a better future. Okay. So this is the end of the episode. I hope you guys enjoy this. And as always, if you guys have discovered this journal, don't keep it to yourself. Share it to the world. Thank you, Mr. Chow.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice time to you. Okay, thank you. Okay.